I'm Steve Dangle, and you're listening to Stick to the Pod.
Hello and welcome back everyone for another episode of Stick to the Pod. Episode 18. A little later than you'd have thought. It should have been out last week, but unfortunately the little thing called life did get in the way. But anyway, here we are. I am going to cover the Cup semi-finals of both Morley and Laidler. Then we'll go into the weekend's fixtures and who did what where. But what a great time of the year it is. Teams are ramping up for the playoffs. They're hustling and bustling for positions within the league table to try and get themselves a better advantage. Some teams are just happy to be there and they'll take whatever comes their way. But you can see the hockey's improving, the games are getting closer to a point. The physicality's probably be up a little bit more than usual. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll get straight into it. We're going to cover the Laidler Cup semi-finals straight off the bat. Pretty much a foregone conclusion in the Laidler division. So yeah, straight into it. What we had was just bear with me, we had the Coventry NIHL Blaze and the Sutton Sting, and the Sheffield Titans versus the Telford Tigers NIHL 2. Straight into it, the Blaze were beaten at home 3-1 by the Sting, and then the reverse fixture the following night, the Sutton Sting won on home ice against the NIHL Blaze 3-2, putting them into the finals. Sheffield Titans were at home for the first leg, losing out to the Tigers 9-1 on home ice, and then 10-5 back on Telford's rink the following night. So as many as expected in that division, with the league making the decision that they made in regards to the Aces and Buccaneers game, which might have made the Telford game a bit more exciting. Anyway, it wasn't to be. It is a Tigers versus Sutton final as we expected. That will take place on 24th and 25th of February at the same time as the Morley Cup final. Moving into the Morley Cup final, we had two cracking games. Hull made it into that fourth final spot. So you had the Billingham Stars versus the Hull Jets. At the second place, Solihull Barons against third place, Blackburn Hawks. Now, I think this Blackburn Solihull game was probably slanted and tilted slightly into the Hawks' favour with all the shenanigans that happened to Solihull the week before. Players getting injured, players getting banned, certainly give the Hawks the upper advantage, and they certainly made sure of that on home ice on the Saturday night, coming out 7-3 victors over the Solihull Barons. The Barons goal scorers, Soden, Chandler and obviously Otterson. I believe both Mackay boys were missing, one injured, one through suspension. And the Blackburn scorers spread out through 7 scorers, I believe it was. Girinox, Riddicks, Luckwhite, Barnes, Watson, Pollard, Royds, all on the score sheet for the Blackburn Hawks. And for the game I was at in Hull, it was fantastic to see the crowd as big as it was in Hull. Especially for Hull Jets, a new team into the Morley Conference. I wouldn't say, bit annoyed that for some of the Jets fans saying, we're just happy to be here. This is our first year in this competition. It's not bad for a first year team. I can't accept that. Look at that roster. It is stacked with talent from top to bottom that's played National League and that's got lots of Morley ice time. So you can't say, we'll take a cup semi-final in our first year. We'll probably be a little bit disappointed with how things went against the Billingham Stars. Granted, the Stars are going great guns. Had a couple of, I wouldn't say shaky performances, but in different performances the weekend before. The game in Hull, with a huge Stars following. Obviously the Seahawks not playing, I think they were away, so Hull had a decent backing as well. A 2-2 game, Joe Walls and Rollins Gritnan scoring for the Stars. The experience of Richard Hagger and then Jaseko getting an equaliser. Funny old game, it really was. Stars were not great, but never in trouble. It was weird. It was one of those games. I know a lot of people, even the coaches, have come out and said it was very poor from the Stars. But it's hard for me to describe. Stars tried to be too safe, tried to be correct and perfect in everything they did. Whereas for the fans that have seen the Stars this year, you'll know that they come wave after wave after wave after wave. They'll create 10 chances and probably only score 2 or 3. But it doesn't matter because you know another 10, 15, 20 chances are going to happen and those goals are coming. Against Hull in Hull, they try to be too perfect, too precise, too safe with the puck. Don't get me wrong, they did defensive duties well. But yeah, just too safe, not the usual wave of attacks. They controlled the ozone at times very, very well, but just not, like I said, just not shooting like they have been, not snapping the puck around like they have been. And yeah, it's a bit of an indifferent performance from the Stars. Like I say, a lot of people said it was a poor performance. I just thought it was a safe performance. Maybe it was because they knew they had the home crowd the next night. I don't know. But in saying that as well, Hull pulled their plums out trying to stay with the Stars on the Saturday. You could see each and every one of them at the end of the game and the first leg were all white in the face, got nothing left to give, tired, and just you could see the heavy legs of them skating off the ice. So as much as they got a good result of a 2-2 draw, you could see it. They put so much into that game, and it obviously took so much out of them. Moving on to the Sunday, pretty much as we were for the Hawks and Barons. Hawks running out as 6-4 victors on Solihull's home ice. Smith getting on the score sheet, Otterson getting 2, and Race getting the other. And then the Hawks' big line doing some damage in this game with Barnes getting 2, Lutwijk 3, and Riddick on the score sheet there, giving them a 13-7 aggregate win. Like I said earlier, bit of a bad time for the Barons to get the couple of injuries and bans that they did. But so be it, it is what it is. It's happened to every team this season. Everyone's getting bans, everyone's getting injuries. So yeah, the Hawks advance into the final and onto the Stars game, and probably a shock result. Not the winner. I mean, probably more, a shock scoreline, not a shock result. I think Stars were always going to be too strong on home ice, and whether them playing safe on the Saturday or the poor performance on Saturday geared them up on the Sunday, or they had plenty of energy left in the tank. Like I said, Hull had nothing left to give on the Saturday. It's probably a good job it didn't go to overtime because they were spent. Stars running wild, coming out as 12-3 winners. Beach, Kent and Gieber for the Hull Jets. Ian Brown, Rollins Grittens, Chris Sykes all helping themselves to a hat-trick. Sean Galloway getting himself 2. And defenseman James Helens also getting on the score sheet. So you can see the top two lines scoring very heavy there. Yeah, it was probably not really the incidents, just pettiness towards the end of the game, bit of ill discipline, letting the mouth thrown a little bit. A bit of misconduct getting thrown around there by the referee, who, by the way, had an absolutely storming game. One of the best performances I've seen this season. So fair play, Mr. Ellis. A cracking game. And I'll mention your performance a little bit later on as well as we go through the weekend's fixtures. So there we have it. It's back-to-back finals for the Stars. They made it unexpectedly last year, beating the Warriors to face the Solway Sharks in the final last year, and took the Sharks all the way to penalty shots. Is it going to be redemption year? Is this going to be the year where they put a few wrongs right? And they're going up against, I wouldn't say big rivals, but old foes, rivals of the Stars' early days. The Blackburn Hawks, who's certainly one of the, if not the most informed team at the moment, other than the Birmingham Stars. So that's pretty much it, cup-wise. We will cover them come the end of the month. Like I said, those fixtures are on the 24th and the 25th of February for the Ladler and the Morley Cup finals. So just to repeat that will be Sutton Sting versus the Telford Tigers NIHL 2 of the Ladler in the final, and the Birmingham Stars and the Blackburn Hawks of the Morley also playing their final, both on the 24th and 25th of February. So let's get into the weekend we've just had. So unfortunately you guys didn't get a preview this time round. So what I will do is I'll quickly run through the fixtures of who was where and who was doing what. Sorry if you can hear the rustling around, that's just me moving my paperwork around. So Saturday's fixtures had the Hull Jets playing the Blackburn Hawks, the Sheffield Scimitars playing the Nottingham Lions in their big derby, and also the other pointless cup was happening, the M56 Cup, where D-Side and Widnes were playing each other. It's probably the only major DOPS thing involving our division, was that D-Side were given a points deduction, I think it was, and Blackburn awarded the game they refused to travel to 5-0. Not that it's important, Pointless Cup. It's probably cost teams a little bit more than what they would have expected this year. Like I say, Hawks playing in 3 cup competitions as it is, and as well as the league. Maybe if you're not for those 1 or 2 of those cup competitions, they might be going a lot better in the league. I know at the minute they do stand 3rd, but still a long way off. Sunday's fixtures are the Billingham Stars going up against the ever-improving Widnes Wild, the Blackburn Hawks at home to the Hull Jets, the Nottingham Lions this time at home to the Sheffield Scimitars to finish off their derby series, and the Solihull Barons against the Deeside Dragons, where things got a little hostile just a couple of weeks back and cost Solihull dearly, and more than likely probably cost them a place in the Cup final. So let's roll back to Saturday then, and let's go through these scorers. We will talk about the Pointless Cup, the M56 Cup. Like I said, the ever-improving Widnes Wild. They ran out 4-1 winners in Deeside. And that's enough said about that. Pretty pointless, really. So we're moving into league action. The Hull Jets, we know how good they are on home ice. I think there's only the 1 game they've lost this year, or 2 games they've lost this year. Go down 8-3 to the ever-improving Blackburn Hawks. I did put a comment out there saying I think Billingham may really got to Hull last Sunday. They really did a number on them and might have put the goalies inside of them. Losing on home ice 8-3 to the Blackburn Hawks. Hagger and Kent on the score sheet for Hull. Like I said, 2 of the main guys, along with Beach. You're going to see them 3 names all season long. As I said at the start of the season, some experienced guys there. And then for the Hawks, Luke White, Riddick, Grimes, Royds, and then Mr. Barnes has turned up with 4 goals to make the 8 up for the Hawks. And then moving into Sheffield for the derby versus the Nottingham Lions. I don't have any goal scorers for the Nottingham Lions, I'm afraid. Getting updates out of teams like Hull, Sheffield and Nottingham is really difficult. I know it's all done by volunteers, but surely it can't be difficult to put your goal scorers out there, because we all know the website ain't up and running to its max capacity yet. But the 2 scorers for Sheffield that we did manage to find were Nixon and Dancer. And the Lions, like I say, are putting 6 past Sheffield. Probably not the result I was expecting, and certainly not the scoreline I was expecting. Lions obviously are capable of beating teams down that part of the table. I know Sheffield's been on good form, took some good points off the likes of the Barons over the last couple of weeks, so you kind of expect them to have that little bit more on the Lions, but nope, the Lions took the game to the Skims and won the game 6-2. Moving into Sunday. And Sunday we had the return fixture of the Hawks and the Hull Jets. Blackburn Hawks on home ice, taking the game 6-2. Just the 1 goal scorer noticed for Hull, and that was Robinson. And then for the Hawks, they had Royd scoring 2, Jurinox, Lutwidge getting 2, and Streetley. Noticeable absentee was Adam Barnes. I saw that on the squad list that they announced that he wasn't on there. Whether that was an error or not, I don't know, but he wasn't listed, so I assumed he didn't play. Hopefully it's nothing serious or not an injury, because the Hawks will need him going in the lead up to the run-in and for the cup final in a couple of weeks' time. The Barons take the game 6-3 versus the Deeside Dragons. Your usual scorers for the Barons. Phil Mulcahy back after his ban, scoring a hat-trick. Otterson on the score sheet, along with Race and Maurice. And Andy McKinney getting a hat-trick for the Deeside Dragons. So yeah, a big result for the Barons, trying to stay with the Stars at the top of the table. And obviously Deeside losing out only helps the Hawks' cause for them to get closer. Moving back to the derby game, this time Nottingham Lions on home ice against the Sheffield Scimitars. Again, no Lions scorers, but the 2 goals from Sheffield, Crowther and Dransfield, wasn't enough in their 4-2 loss to the Lions. So Lions taking 4 points over the Sheffield Scimitars this weekend, so that takes them off the foot of the table. And then at the final game of the weekend, the Billingham Stars run wild on Widnes. I fully expected a tight game, a close game. I wouldn't say I went into this game nervous, but I went into the game thinking this is going to be one hell of a battle. Bad discipline by Widnes, very poor discipline. Stars power play was rocking. I think 5 or 6 of the 7 goals were on the power play. Also had themselves killing some 5-on-3s at the end of the game. So the PK doing very well as well. But a 7-0 rout for the Stars. Ian Brown is on fire at the moment. Grittens with another 2. Sykes, Emerson and Preston. So as you can see, lots of depth scoring there. That's the third line popping up there with Preston and Emerson. So you can see where the Stars' quality has been this year in the depth. It's not just the first line or the second line you've got to deal with. The third line can also put pucks in the net as well. So yeah, that was it for the weekend just gone. A quick little roundup there. So on Saturday, Hull Jets versus the Blackburn Hawks. The Hawks running out 8-3 winners. The big derby game between the Sheffield Scimitars and the Nottingham Lions went to the Lions 6-2. Moving into Sunday, and the Lions on home ice to the Sheffield Scimitars do the double and get the 4-2 victory. Hawks again also doing the double over their opponent this weekend. Blackburn beating the Hull Jets 6-2. Solihull Barons taking their victory over the D-side Dragons and then a rival to them that was just below them in the table, 6-3, and the Stars routing the Widnes Wild 7-0. So let's have a little look what's happening this weekend. Not much happening on Saturday. I believe there may be a cup game. I think the Hawks entertain one of the Scottish teams. Not that arsed. Like I said, another Pointless Cup possibly could have cost them doing much better in the league this year. So the only Saturday fixture is the Sheffield Scimitars versus the Whitley Warriors, who've just had the weekend off and will be buoyed by the return of Phil Edgar, who landed in the country this week. So the Warriors will be fully equipped and ready to go. That's all their top guys back, so they'll be fully expected to make a huge push for a better position in the playoffs and will be hunting for that playoff title. Don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's only 8 games left of the regular season, but that's enough games for their guys to get their legs together, to start clicking again. Like I say, Edgar and Holland were the main 2 fixtures of, was it last season or season before, whenever it was. They were the main 2 guys. They were putting up stupid numbers. To be fair, they'll both be well rested. Most of that team will be well rested going into this latter part of the season because most of them haven't played. Be interesting to see how the Warriors go development-wise. Could be a small step back. Obviously, it was a chance for a reset with Tony Han coming in. And granted, the season wasn't going great, but it didn't have to be. It was giving youngsters valuable ice time in the big scenarios, on the PK, on the PP, playing first line minutes, learning the craft, which would only do them good stead in 1, 2, 3 years' time, however long it may be. Billingham did it after COVID, did a big reset, just chucked the available juniors into the senior squad with a couple of seniors and just let them play. And I would say Billingham, also losing one of their major talents in Finn Braden, I'll probably be a year or 2 ahead of where they want it to be. But that's okay. Sometimes things far exceed expectations. Sometimes they underwhelm. It doesn't matter. You just got to let these kids play. Bringing the guys back that they've brought back. Does it set the Warriors back? I don't know. Only time will tell. Maybe only one or two of them retire again in the summer. Maybe they all decide to stick around and try and be the senior guys and bring the youngsters through, but they've got to give the youngsters the big minutes. Anyway, so that was Saturday's only fixture, the Sheffield Scimitars and the Whitley Warriors. Moving into Sunday, Warriors are back in action. They do have a double away weekend. After Sheffield, they head down to Solihull to play the Barons, so the Barons versus the Whitley Warriors on Sunday, which is a huge game, and I'm pretty sure nearly every Stars fan will have a close eye on what's going on there. The Nottingham Lions host the Blackburn Hawks. Be interested to see how the Hawks go. It's never been an easy place for the Hawks to go, has Nottingham. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they play a Scottish team on the Saturday. Widnes Wild holds the Sheffield Scimitars. And the final game of the weekend is D-side Dragons versus the Billingham Stars. So it's the Hull Jets who get a weekend off. And they're probably thankful for it, to be honest. Having that huge semi-final fixture that they had, getting routed on the Sunday, and then obviously not playing the best. The weekend just gone versus the Hawks, losing both games. So yeah, certainly a lot to play for still, table-wise. So So thank you to NIHL Stats again. I'd be lost without you. Putting a little table of if the playoffs started today. Kind of been doing that with you guys anyway, of who would play who, but now in table form, so a lot easier to read. So yeah, we'll have a quick run through the table. Because like I say, there's still a lot to play for, positions to play for. And like I say, we'll go through if the playoffs started today, who would play who. Because it's certainly interesting reading and will make for great playoffs. To be fair, I don't think anyone will compete with the Morley Conference for playoffs this year. Doesn't matter who plays who. But anyway, straight into it. At the top of the table, still there, been there a while now. Shining brightly at the top. Yes, I know, very cheesy. Billingham Stars, top of the tree. Played 24 games. 42 points, 154 goals scored, 47 goals against. Yes, less than 2 goals a game now. That is quite impressive. Actually, before I read down the rest of the table, I'd like to welcome Hull Jets to the playoffs, leaving just 2 spots available now, and that's the Widnes Wild, who currently occupy that 7th spot, and looks like they won't be caught, and they certainly won't be catching Hull Jets. I don't know if you caught the interview with Joey Coulter and the Stars media team on Sunday, saying I think they're preparing for 7th, and it's probably the best thing to do for them. And obviously you then have Nottingham and Sheffield battling it out for that final spot. Anyway, back to the league table. Billingham Stars at the top, as I just said, 24 games played, 42 points on the board, 154 goals scored, 47 goals against. Second placed is still the Solihull Barons, 25 games played, 36 points, 123 goals scored, 94 goals against them. So Barons are currently 6 points behind and played a game more. In third place, the big movers is the Blackburn Hawks. They've also played 24 games, 30 points, 110 goals scored, 78 goals conceded. Fourth place, the last position for home advantage, if you choose to take it. The Deeside Dragons, 25 games played, 29 points, 117 goals scored, 103 conceded. The Whitley Warriors, fifth place, 24 games played, 27 points on the board, 81 goals scored and 83 goals against, giving them a -2 so far for the season. Sixth place, Hull Jets. Same games played as the Whitley Warriors, same points as the Whitley Warriors, just a little bit better on the goal difference with 85 goals scored, 86 goals conceded. Seventh place, as we mentioned for the past few weeks now, I haven't mentioned them in any other position, I don't think. Seventh place is theirs. It's not mathematically sealed yet, but looking at the fixtures and the point situation, Widnes Wild will be 7th. 25 games played, 17 points on the board. That's 10 behind the team above them, and they've played a game more. 65 goals scored, 117 conceded. And then we have a new team in position 8. The Nottingham Lions are off the bottom of the table in 25 games played. They have 12 points, 69 goals scored, 139 conceded. And then at the bottom, that 0 point weekend with a double header with the Lions have put them bottom. 24 games played, 10 points on the board, just the 53 goals scored and 110 conceded. So that's the Morley table. The Billingham Stars, the Solihull Barons, the Blackburn Hawks, Deeside Dragons, Whitley Warriors, Hull Jets, the Widnes Wild, Nottingham Lions and the Sheffield Sooners from 1st to 9th. So that is it for the Morley Division 1, North 1, whatever you want to call it. Let's just have a quick scope over Division 2. So on the Saturday, I actually went to this game. I was very intrigued to see and learn all about the Telford Tigers, see what they're about. My own fault really, I should have did a little bit of research. I should have jumped on Elite Prospects, see what the roster's like, see who's there, see who's doing what. I got quite the surprise when I walked in and there was just the 1 or 2 face cages. Yes, granted the goalkeepers, the netminders are quite young, but with them having a National League team, I fully expected this team to be quite a young side who was hungry to be playing in the first Telford team, in the Telford first team basically. But no, I was quite shocked to when I actually looked on Elite Prospects to see them at the head over 10 players over the age of 30, and I think it was maybe 6 of them over the age of 33. And carrying 2 imports. Yes, 2 imports. Carol Jett, I think 43 years old. Philip Super, 35 years old. Both playing on the top line together. And that's where all the damage came from in this game. It was just the pair of them. It was the Super Jets show, really. Barring a bit of poor officiating. But I'm not going to get involved in that side of things. Like I said, I was there more to watch Telford. I was intrigued to see what Telford were all about. They did run over the Buccaneers with a 5-1 victory. Also on the Saturday, the Coventry NIHL Blaze beat the Nottingham Lions NIHL 2 9-0. Kingston Sharks lost out by 1 goal to the Aldringham Aces 5-4 also on Saturday. And Saturday's final fixture was the Sheffield Titans 6, the Bradford Bulldogs 3. And then moving in onto the Sunday, the Sutton Sting ran 4-0 winners over the Coventry Blaze. The Bradford Bulldogs managed double figures, and then Lions 2 winning 13-2. And the Buccaneers get a huge shootout victory over the Altrincham Aces, with young Stars prospect Lucas Dowdle scoring the winning penalty shot. So just have a little quick rundown of their league table and see what's what. And we can currently look at the current playoff situation if they started today in Division 2, which I didn't do for the Moral League. So let's just do the ladler and then we'll jump back to the Moral League and look at the current playoff situation. So in the ladler table, obviously you have the Telford Tigers 2 side, 23 games played, just the 1 loss so far this season, 44 points, 170 goals scored, 54 conceded. In the second is the Sutton Sting on 24 games played with 41 points, 168 goals and 57 against. Coventry Blaze 24 games played, 35 points, 93 goals scored, 63 conceded. The first of the division's new sides, the Billingham Buccaneers, 25 games, 26 points, 87 goals scored, 74 against. The Sheffield Titans in 5th place, 24 games played, also 26 points, 117 goals scored. That's more than the Blaze and the Buccaneers. However, 115 goals conceded. 6th place is Altrincham Aces. 23 games played, 20 points, 90 goals scored, 106 conceded. 7th place Bradford Bulldogs. 24 games played, 19 points, 101 goals scored, 138 conceded. The second of the new teams in Division 2, the Ladler Division. 8th place Kingston Sharks, 24 games played, 172 goals conceded, and just a 74 goals scored for 7 points on the table. So they are definitely not catching Bradford, and it probably looks like the Kingston will be taking that 8th spot home with them. 9th place, the Lions 2, 23 games played, just the 3 points on the board, 52 goals scored and 173 goals against. So as I've missed the Moral League playoff picture out, let's just jump back over to that. So what happens if the playoffs start today? Well, I think the obvious one will be the Billingham Stars. When I say obvious, it was obvious until that last weekend. The Billingham Stars were looking to be playing the Sheffield Scimitars. However, the Lions' 4-point weekend over the Scimitars has now put them in the driving seat. So the first game would be 1st v 8th, which is the Billingham Stars versus the Nottingham Lions. The next fixture, the Solihull Barons, who are currently occupying 2nd place, they would be taking on the 7th place Widnes Wild. 3rd place Blackburn Hawks, they would be taking on the 6th place Hull Jets. And then you have the 4th place Teesside Dragons versus the Whitley Warriors in 5th. So that would be a fantastic playoff first round if those fixtures would go ahead. To be fair, you could probably jumble them teams up a bit and you're going to have a fantastic weekend. I don't know, let's have a quick look. Wouldn't it be great if, Blackburn played Widnes, Barons played Dragons, Jets Warriors? I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Like I say, there's nothing really happened off the ice, nothing major happening. Playoff weekend still not announced officially or publicly. I know 4000 Counting did something on it, quick mention on it. I'll drop a message out and see if I can have the information to announce next week if it's not already out there. But rumour is it will be Sheffield, but we'll see. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. It's only about 60 days, 65 days now until playoff weekend. So yeah, that's just about it. Through my notes, I've got nothing else to cover. So yeah, wherever you are this weekend, enjoy your games. If your team doesn't have a game, get along, watch one of the other fixtures in the division. I'm sure if you're somewhere like Hull, you'll have teams above and teams below that you can follow. You're the only team who's have the weekend off, so I'm pretty much sure you'll be taking in a Seahawks game or a Kingston Sharks game if possible. So that's it for this week. Hopefully it wasn't too crammed. Sorry I missed out last week. Like I say, work did get in the way. I would like to say thank you for the emails and for the messages. I do read them. I do reply to them when I get a chance. So if you do want to leave me a message, any of the platforms will do. The email address, sticktothepod@gmail.com. If you want to leave me an email. Twitter, also known as X, @sticktothepod. Same for Facebook, @sticktothepod. Drop me messages. Like I say, I will reply. If you've got any input, any advice, I'd gladly listen. Like I say, I've got the YouTube channel there. So if you do listen to the podcast on YouTube, please subscribe and like as well. It also helps. Also, ideas for more content for the YouTube channel. It's there. I might as well use it. I might as well use it to its full capacity to advertise the league. We've got a fantastic league. We've got 9 great teams who are still all battling away every weekend to try and improve their league position, which is fantastic. Years gone by, you would have teams deliberately losing to make sure they don't make playoffs or to make sure they got relegated. Likewise for Division 2, you'd have teams deliberately losing so they don't get promoted. Granted, I know promotion relegation isn't there anymore. They should bring it back in my opinion. It would be great to see Telford step up this year. If that's what they want to do, that would be great. But yeah, it's just we're getting into the business end of the season. Every weekend is going to be filled with drama, action-packed. I know the Warriors will all be getting giddy now they've got a full roster. Barons, be like a bear with a sore head. They'll feel hard done by with the injuries and the suspensions that happened to them previously, so they've got a point to prove. D-side have been on a little bit of a stinker lately, so they'll want to stop the Stars in their tracks this weekend. Hawks are on a burner. They'll be fancying the chances, catching the Barons. What they are, 6 points behind the Barons with a game in hand. That makes 4 points, so they'll probably feel as though they could catch the Barons. Like I say, if the Warriors beat them and the Stars beat them, they'll be level on points within no time. So yeah, I mean, it's just daft things like that, and the league table changes massively, and the outlook of your playoff opposition just changes massively. But yeah, drop us a message with anything really, anything you want to talk about, anything you would like to know that I don't talk about, anything you'd like me to add. If you'd like me to go in more depth on anything, whether it's like Division 2, if that's the case, I'd have to do a bit more research on what's going on there. Whether you want me to do interviews, although not my kind of thing. I don't think I'm the interviewing type. I don't mind giving it a go. I have thought about doing some small video vlogs for the YouTube channel, just basically on game days, just doing a little bit of footage of where I am, who the Stars are playing against, getting some fan opinions, whether it's home fans or away fans, which is something I need to look at. So I need to look at how best is to do that. So any advice there would be appreciated. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much for listening. Your feedback is welcomed, whether it's good or bad. I listen to it all. I take it all on board. This is, like I said, this place is for me just to talk hockey. I love talking hockey. I'll always do it. But again, it's also for you guys to get as much information about our division, especially if you're new to it. I'll give you as much information as I can possibly give you. Maybe give a little NIHL a little nudge to see if you can get elite prospects up to date with scores and stuff. So if you listen to Matty, come on, get that elite prospects page up to date so we can find out who the scorers are and such, top scorers are. Thank you very much for listening, and enjoy your weekend of hockey, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye for now.